Y'all know how we do. No talking. Straight to it. Boom.
Cops are usually dealing with people and criminals they've never seen before. But what happens when instead it's their own friends that they have to arrest?
Ain't nobody jumped out, Bob. Kevin! Stay out of this, Kevin!
Here are 3 examples of this happening, starting with the case of Buck Preston.
Buck,
What?
you know you ain't
Damn, Michael.
got a driver's license.
Don't do this, please.
I got to.
Man, goddamn, Michael. Please.
I got to.
No, listen.
Right now, Michael. He said, I got to arrest you. You don't got a driver's license.
No.
Please, just listen.
Sheriff sent me.
The sheriff.
Sheriff, captain, I mean, they've seen you driving, we gotta get you.
One of the cons to small town living is that everybody knows each other, including the cops. The town sheriff claims to have seen Buck driving his Chevy pickup, but nearly every cop in town knows he doesn't have his license. So what else is there for Buck to do to try and explain his way out of it?
I'm telling you, I'm just trying to tell you something. Listen, I'm listening. The person that was driving this truck just jumped out the fucking over there on goddamn Lake Morality, and goddamn, I had no other way to get it here, buddy. I swear to God, I'm not going to drive it no more. I promise you.
No, I got to.
God damn, Michael, please.
31 to 28. You said you want this way?
That's crazy, bro.
Too much map clutter?
I just passed it.
You just passed him?
Yeah, on see, you said, no, he didn't. I swear to God, he didn't. Michael, I just swear to God, if you listen to me, bro, I swear to God.
I'm about to right now. Sugar Fish stating something jumped out behind the wheel.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my truck home. That's it.
But
Bro, I swear to God,
you can't
bro.
get a driver's license in the state of Florida, dude. That's how bad it is.
Buck's story is that his friend was driving his truck, but ditched him out near a lake, leaving him with no option but to drive back home himself. Unfortunately for Buck, though, we are in the 21st century, and the officer reminds him he could have just called someone with a license to drive him back.
Facts. Stupid. Stupid. Yeah, you ain't think the cop understood that?
He still broke the law, regardless of the circumstances. Predictably, Buck wasn't very happy about this.
I get it, but man, you still can't drive, bro. Pull it off the road and wait for someone to have a valid license.
What?
Let's go.
That's crazy, dude. Would you tell him that...
Let's go, Buck. Buck, I'm not playing this game.
What do you mean? I'm telling you the truth.
Nobody jumped out.
Oh, damn it. I'm sitting on the wall
he tried to get up to his friend. Said, I'm not playing, Buck. We not doing this today. You shouldn't have been driving. I told him not to. Hell no, man.
Ain't nobody jumped out, Bob. Yes, they did. Kevin, did they not? Stay out of this, Kevin. Did they not? Kevin, back off. Kevin, you stay out of this. Did they not jump out? Back off, Kevin. God damn, man. I'm telling you respect when you go walk from me like that. Get up.
Despite the chase not lasting very long at all this did was add an extra charge to Buck's already fairly long list.
Dang.
And given how close everyone seems to be here, you just know this police chase is going to be the talk of the town. Part of the struggle on the ground had to be cut, but the cops reported that Buck resisted so hard that they had to deploy a taser to make him calm down.
Wow.
The footage returns when Buck was fully restrained and handcuffed. Buck was taken to the officer's patrol vehicle and driven back to the station. Obviously angry, he decided to make the conversation on the way back personal.
I don't talk to you about your mom in this. This is... I don't give a fuck. Leave my family out of this, dog.
All I'm saying is, she'd be proud of you for sticking that fucking taser to me when I was not even resisting what you've done.
You're resisting.
Fuck out. What happened?
Yeah, that's why we had each other in headlocks. Whatever. Look, Buck. Stop bringing my mom into it.
There's little information about what happened to Buck after this video, but it's likely he was charged with driving without a license and resisting arrest. There's an argument that Buck could also be hit with fleeing to elude an officer, but this is a felony that comes with a 5-year prison sentence.
Dang.
It's more likely the officer gave his friend the misdemeanor charge worth just a couple months in jail. It's unlikely the suspects in this next case got the same treatment though, as it wasn't just a civilian caught breaking the law, but also their cop friend.
Stupid, man. Oh man, but like it's real though. They like at least cops are like being fair. Like they're not doing any like these cops are being fair. They're not like showing favoritism. They're doing what they need to do to get what they need to get done. So I gotta be fair to that.
How you doing? Reason I stopped you is your right brake light is out. Who do you work for?
Stop me because my right brake light is out?
Yeah.
Stop me to ask you what?
Well, I'm asking you both.
DCS.
What?
DCS.
DCS. What's DCS?
You don't know it.
Department of Children's Services?
As he mentioned, the suspect named Petra Edgerton was originally pulled over for a broken brake light. But the officer quickly noticed something else, a police badge around Petra's neck. Firstly, this cop doesn't recognize the supposed officer, but it's also unusual to see a police officer driving around in a broken car. Something feels off, so the cop decides to investigate further.
Is your license in? Do you have your badge on you? Like your ID badge? Being a police officer. Right. So, if you're a police officer, you understand what probable cause is, right? Your right brake light's out.
My right brake light wasn't out.
Yeah, it is. It's out right now. It doesn't matter. You're driving with a brake light out on the street, so it's an equipment violation. I saw it when you were pulling out.
At this point, the brake light issue is the least of the cops' worries. It's difficult to classify what exactly an off-duty officer is supposed to act like, but something about Petra is triggering alarm bells for the cop. She's acting defensive, being closed off, and giving strange, vague answers to questions that a real cop would be able to answer.
Want to be a successful screenplay writer? With Scribbler's AI script writer, powered by one-click.
So it's time to quit the games and figure out exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Look, long story short, I just want to know who you work for.
And that's the issue. Why do you want to know who I work for?
Because I've never seen you around here before. You're not a police officer that works here.
You don't know who I am.
That's right.
You've never seen me.
Right. So, are you a police officer or are you not a police officer?
So because a black person walks into a store with a badge and a gun is an issue.
That has nothing to do with you being black. Are you a police officer or you're not a police officer?
Not a police officer.
You're not a police officer? So why would you go into Quick Trip and get free food with your badge and gun?
Because I'm an officer. You don't have to be a police officer to go in there. I've been doing it for 3 years.
So you're not a certified police
It's
officer.
not probable cause. It's a personal thing.
There are a dozen ways for a cop to prove that they work for a certain agency. For example, she could give the name of her department and supervisor and have the cop check the names with them. This would only take a couple minutes, and any real cop would know this. So the fact that she's getting defensive instead and turning this into a personal thing is a huge red flag. It's also...
But here's the thing though. Even if they identified that, what would that mean if they still broke the law? Would you still have to do the due process and everything? She should have just kept her mouth shut and just took the thing. Like, you don't have to answer any of the questions. Like, if you answering the questions, you're basically incriminating yourself. So she goes and talks on, she's incriminating herself for false, what's it called? Being a false police officer? What is that called? I don't know what that's called. I don't know what that's called, but yeah.
It's clear that Petra doesn't seem to realize what she
Impersonating a law officer, yeah.
actually did wrong. Just minutes earlier, she was seen inside the store presenting her badge and gun to the cashier and walking out with free food. This isn't just cop impersonation, it's theft. So the cop needs to get to the bottom of this.
Did I steal from
Are you yeah, if you're not a police officer.
I did not steal from I went up to the register, spoke to the guy that works there, and told him I had his drink.
So you're presenting yourself as a police officer with your badge and your gun on the side.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I do understand that. But my issue with you is, you've seen that. You say because you have seen me.
So who do you work for?
Out of the store.
Who do you work for? Who is DCS?
How long have you been working?
12 years, 13 years.
How do you not know DCS?
There's, like I said, the Department of Children's Services, what is it? Explain it to me.
I don't have this. I don't know. You're going to give me a ticket to show license.
Okay. Is your license?
Since he's getting nothing out of Petra, the cop decides to call up DCS himself, and his suspicions get instantly confirmed.
Who is your supervisor?
What do they have to do with my brake light?
What it has to do with is you've told me you're a police officer, or you're an officer for DCS. I've got DCS on the phone. They say you don't work there. So who's your supervisor?
It seems that the suspect knows at least something about policing, as she chooses to remain silent from now on. So the cop turns his attention to the passenger of this vehicle, who at this point hasn't said a word. When he asks for her ID, he gets a huge surprise.
I have one of your employees here, Brandy Green. She was with her friend, Petra Edgerton. Brandy decided that she was going to give Petra her badge and her gun to go into Quick Trip and get some food. So,
oh, that's Saudi. Dang, that's Saudi. That's Saudi. Oh man, oh that was stupid. Now you about to lose your job and everything just to help your friend out. Oh man, she should have known. You know, she'd have told her like, you don't gotta say nothing. Just stay quiet. Don't talk to this man. You don't have to keep talking to this man. It's irrelevant. Like, but wow.
Broken tail light. Petra was driving. She had the badge on and the gun on. When I pulled them over, she identified herself as a DCS officer and then later admitted to not being a DCS officer. And your employee, Brandy Green, admitted to giving her the gun and the badge to go into Quick Trip to get the fruit.
Be the CFO you've always dreamed of with your company's travel spend under control.
After investigating just a little further, both Petra and the actual cop, Brandy Green, admit to everything. Following the incident, Brandy resigned from her job at the DCS, and Petra is facing felony charges for impersonation, carrying a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. There's many more examples of these cops that seem to just forget they also need to follow the rules, just like Corporal Scott Bertzik did on New Year's Day 2021. When Officer Brooke Shutterly arrived at the scene of a car crash, she realized it wasn't just her supervisor at the wheel, but a good friend of hers.
So, reached out for my lighter, slammed into his ass.
Oh,
No, not really.
not really.
No.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Your car's fucked up.
No, absolutely.
Obviously, Brooke and Scott are familiar with each other, and curiously, Scott holds nothing back when describing exactly how the incident went down. It's clear that Scott is the one at fault here, so before going any further, Brooke decides to call back to the base to ask whether or not it's okay for her to be handling this incident.
This crash, Birdie, ESO come work it? Okay. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've worked a crash with one of us in it, so... No, he's not on duty. He's in his POV. I just didn't want there to be any, like, conflict of interest type issues. Alright, that was it. I just want to make sure. Yeah, bye. Damn it, Birdie.
Brooke is given the go-ahead and told that there should be no issues with her handling this case, but that was before she noticed this.
You good?
Wait.
Huh?
Wait on his way.
He's not coming. Good?
Walking home, but yep, I'm good.
So, Birdie, you giving me some indicators?
Oh,
Listen.
at the moment.
Listen, Valdez is coming out just to... I'm not going to lie to you about it.
She's on her way?
Yeah, she's on her way. I'm not really comfortable with this whole thing at all, but I'm not going to lie to you about it.
Oh no, I don't mean to put you in that any. Yep.
From now on, you know how it goes. You can't consume anything, okay? Because right now you're being detained.
Wait, what?
It's obvious that Scott is under the influence of something, judging by his slurred speech, slowed reactions, and slight loss of motor control. Brooke is fairly sure he's been drinking. At this point, Scott is no longer her supervisor. He's just a suspect in a case.
Saudi.
And what's more, he's drunk and likely unpredictable, a combination which can be incredibly threatening to a female officer.
Please don't make my life difficult.
I would never do that to you.
Okay, I'm very uncomfortable right now.
And I apologize for putting you in that position. Are you on?
Yes, I am. And I'm going to remain on for integrity. You know you can't smoke right now.
Why?
Because if I'm going to do a DUI investigation, it impedes it, so you can't consume anything. I want to get that dog. That is a really cute dog.
fear-aggression issue.
You can always train a dog. You can't consume it. You're killing me.
Trying.
It's too late now.
After a short wait, another officer arrives at the scene, meaning they can finally start getting to the bottom of all of this with some sobriety tests. These lasted over 10 minutes, but it's not hard to tell how they went by just looking at a few seconds of them.
Man.
You may begin the test.
1, 2, 3.
Judging by this and the overwhelming amounts of evidence against him at this point, the officers thought it was safe to conclude that Scott had been drinking that night and decided it was time to put him in cuffs. Something he was far from happy about.
There's things that we can do to fix this. It's got the hinge locks.
Despite Scott being one of the most polite and respectful suspects ever on this channel, he was actually hit with a better sentence than the majority of criminal cops. After blowing a .156 back at the station, he was charged with driving under the influence and damaging property. He was ordered to pay just under $1,000 in fines, serve 50 hours of community service, and take multiple substance abuse and DUI classes, and had his driver's license suspended for 6 months. He was also sued by the driver of the vehicle he hit, and a cash settlement was reached. And on top of all of that, he also was suspended without pay for a week and given a last chance agreement, meaning one more slip up and he was out for good.
Dang, so they really gave him the leeway on that one, man. Dang, man, that's stupid, man. Like if you know you're officer of the law, man, you gotta respect the law. I don't know, but whatever, man. That's crazy. Anyways, y'all, I'm out. Peace.